Greetings, this is Graham Warren, working with you on the Antico Caffe Greco case. This is a fabulous little case to explore the use of queuing theory as well as simulation to provide recommendations for a coffee shop located in Rome. It's the second oldest coffee bar in Italy, after Caffè Florian in Venice, and one of the oldest in the world. The oldest is apparently Queen's Lane Coffee House in Oxford, founded in 1654. ACG dates from 1760. It's had many illustrious patrons, and it's located at near the base of the Spanish Steps in Rome. So if you're familiar with Rome, here's a map. Here's the Pantheon. Here's the Vatican. Antico Caffe Greco is around about here. Colosseum is down here. Okay, so you can have a look at Google this location, and you can see peak periods by day. This is part fiction in this case. So they're scanning orders. The folks are scanning QR codes to place their orders. And these are randomly assigned to one of three queues because there are three baristas serving this cafe. So each of them has a so-called Victoria Venus Arduino coffee bar. These are semi-automatic. They kind of fit the environment. So these orders are received and they're assigned to one of the baristas. And there's no sort of preempting the orders and reassigning them if somebody gets overloaded. They're just randomly assigned 1/3, 1/3, 1/3 of those probabilities. All right, so each barista receives what we could consider to be a Poisson stream of orders at the rate of 18 per hour. And each of these baristas provides, they're all, have basic barista training, and they can serve patrons or customers at the rate of 35 per hour. These are caffeinated beverages. And they're essentially statistically identical. Now, if you want to, actually have a look at their service time distribution, it's can be assumed to be normally distributed with a mean of 103 seconds. That connects back to your 35 per hour with a standard deviation of 60 seconds. So they are, sort of beginning baristas. They could go to a school to receive, more advanced training, and that more advanced training would run 3,650 euros, take about 10 weeks. 50 hours over 10 weeks cost 3,650, after which they would be sort of master baristas, provide absolutely stellar service, exceptional stellar service, be able to do the latte art. Their operational awareness would be at a high level. And if they get that training, their standard deviation of their service times would drop from 60 down to 40 seconds. So there would be some direct improvement in, how, quote unquote, together they are. Now, if they get this training, there's a possibility that they may churn, that they may that there may be some personnel turnover. But they are, ACG is seen as a high-end employer in this market, so it's not clear whether that would happen. And the owners have not collected data on this issue. So here's an alternative. They could move from the Victoria Venus Arduinos to so-called Jura machines. These are modern automatic equipment. And if they did that move, the processing rate would be the same, 35 per hour, 103 seconds service time average, but only 5 seconds standard deviation. So that's something you could consider. Now, who visits this coffee shop? Primarily tourists, but there's also another distinct demographic, and they are luxury shoppers. So take a look at your map. Again, you can pull this up and dive into this area around here. You're going to find that there are shops like Jimmy Choo, Max Mara, Louis Vuitton, Cartier, Prada, and so forth. And so there is a demographic from these retail establishments. They're taking a rest after their retail therapy. So what is the assignment here? Well, we want some guidance for the ownership of ACG. They're currently staffed with 3 people. Is that too many, too few? What are your thoughts on that? Then with regard to the equipment, should they keep the Victoria Venus Arduinos or should they pivot to the Juras? The orders are received just separately. Should we change that? Have one order queue that they all serve? And then also, is there any way to improve both, the employee experience and or the customer experience, perceived weight, enrich the experience? You should understand that this coffee shop is not the coffee shop in a museum. This is the museum in a coffee shop. So it has a rich history with a lot of art. It's one of the largest private art collections in Italy. And there's opportunities there, I think, to leverage the setting. So some broad guidance required here. Now, the case owner will give you some guidance as to what kind of evidence is preferred, but you should consider these questions. Does utilization matter? Does pooling matter? Does variance hurt? Does psychology matter? When this case was written, it was primarily seen as a people type case where you're concerned with the primary concern would be to improve the customer and employee experience. There is also this issue of sort of preserving and elevating this experience because it's a 260-plus-year-old coffee shop. And so the heritage of this is something that deserves appreciation and maybe preservation. So overall, people case, there obviously will be financial considerations. So the profit element is important, but it's secondary to people considerations here. So provided with some tools here. There's a GGK queuing calculator. What that will enable you to do is to explore various scenarios around selection of machines, number of baristas, maybe investigate the pooling. And as an alternative, you have an AnyLogic model, which I will discuss. Again, listen to the case owner for tightened guidance on what kind of evidence is preferred. You're looking at a report here. Your target audience is a group of owners who are familiar with the current operation. Put together, a proposal here that begins with a bluff, follows with analysis, and ends with a conclusion. And everything has to be done in 4 pages, including references. Don't put a cover page in. 12-point Times New Roman, single space, 1-inch margins. Be sure to caption and appropriately reference your tables and figures. And hope you enjoy this one.